what's it like around the house? What measures do you have to take to avoid being gluten?
It's mainly the kitchen where there'll be any issues. I have my own toaster to avoid any cross-contamination between crumbs. I also have my own butter as well, just to ensure that there's no crumbs from cross-contamination if someone's been buttering a piece of toast that contains gluten.
So, how much gluten does it take to actually make you ill?
Well, it's only a few crumbs is enough to make me ill. The scientific number is actually anything over 20 parts per million.
Have you ever been gluten before?
Yeah, actually, I remember this one time. I was at a restaurant and they'd given me some chips that had been fried in the same oil that had been contaminated with gluten due to them just cooking other gluten-containing products. It meant that I was ill the next day. I woke up with digestive symptoms and I was in bed for a couple of days just due to not being able to absorb nutrients properly, so there was a lot of fatigue.
When did you first notice the symptoms?
I noticed them about 3 years ago. The first symptom was waking up every morning, being woken up by the urge to rush to the toilet, which obviously isn't very pleasant. There was also a lot of stomach pain, fatigue, and I did lose some weight as well.
How were you diagnosed?
The first thing was a blood test to detect for any antibodies. It was also to detect any possible IBS, just to rule that out. It was also an endoscopy just to confirm the diagnosis once the results came back, positive blood test.
What are the struggles in public?
The main thing is the convenience. If you're out with friends or family, you just get hungry, you want something to eat. It's hard to find a trusted place depending on where you are. So obviously I know a few places, but it's mainly things, even like finding lunch in supermarkets can be difficult due to availability.
What's gluten-free food like? So like, what's the difference between like, gluten-free food and food that has gluten?
It's generally quite nice. There isn't a huge difference. The main difference is probably how, say, like crumbly or dense a bread or biscuit could be. But there are naturally gluten-free foods as well, like meat, eggs, rice, vegetables.
What food do you miss the most?
Probably bread. Like good gluten-free bread can be hard to find. It's the softness of it. Yeah, bread.
Before Jordan was diagnosed, had you heard of celiac disease?
I had heard the name celiac disease, but I wasn't fully aware of what sort of disease it was and the implications and how difficult it was to manage.
What changes did you notice in him and when?
Before Jordan was finally diagnosed with celiac disease, I noticed that he'd lost a lot of weight. He really didn't look very well. He was tired all the time, lethargic. Wasn't really able to carry on a normal life.
So how has Jordan's diagnosis changed you?
It's changed me in the way of day-to-day living with Jordan and preparing food and shopping for food. It's changed a lot in that way to avoid him being glutened. But I've also noticed a big change in Jordan and see that monitoring it as he does is a big change in him, so it's improved his life.
What do you think is a common attitude towards these types of diseases?
I think if people understand what an autoimmune disease is, then they may understand celiac disease and the difference between an allergy. But I don't think they're aware of the long-term effects.
Have you ever had any negative experiences in public?
Yeah, I remember there was this one time at a restaurant, the waiter and chef assured me that they could cook and provide a gluten-free meal. Once I'd placed my order, the waiter and chef kept coming out to me to ask if certain ingredients were gluten-free, and I wouldn't know if I weren't looking at the ingredients, so that was pretty bad, yeah.
Do you feel better now? Has it changed too much?
Yeah, I do feel better now. I've regained all of the weight that I lost. I've got more energy, and it's changed me in the way that I view allergens and other intolerances as well, and it's changed what I eat and how I eat.
Have you come to terms with it now?
Yeah, I've definitely come to terms with it. I came to terms with it pretty quickly as soon as I started to feel better. It's a lifelong disease, but it makes me feel better, so yeah, I've definitely come to terms with it.